This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening, I'm Chuck Tinte. Brittany is away today. Recent rain is bringing some relief to Manitoba's wildfire zones. A province-wide state of emergency has expired and won't be extended. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, the cool, wet weather has the province's remaining evacuees hopeful for an imminent return.
The orange glow of a ferocious wildfire near the northern Manitoba town of Snow Lake. This was near the end of July during a 6-week evacuation of more than 1,000 people. Now they're going home.
I'm relieved. I think the same goes for an awful lot of people, that this is hopefully finally over.
Snow Lake's mandatory evacuation order has been lifted. Mayor Ron Scott says it's thanks in part to cooler temperatures and rain, but he says crews are still putting out hundreds of hotspots.
In terms of the town, I think we're safe now.
More than 7,000 Manitobans are still displaced because of wildfires. Around 4,000 are staying in hotels, according to the province. That includes people in hotels outside Manitoba. No one is currently staying in congregate shelters.
We want to go home. We want to be home. This is not our lifestyle in the city.
This has been Manitoba's worst wildfire season in 30 years. Nearly 2 million hectares have burned. A state of emergency called on July 10th expired Friday.
I am excited that I get to go home. It's been a long time.
Provincial officials say the fire danger across the majority of the province is now low, and that's bringing hope to other evacuees like Irvin Biggity, who's been staying in a Winnipeg hotel since early July. The power in his home community of Leaf Rapids isn't expected to be restored until early September, and no date for a return has been set. But the grocery store manager says he's been asked to go back next week to get the community ready for re-entry.
We need to get power restored, so that we can get the store running, we get the health center running, get the school running, so when people come home, they can just, get back to their life.
Leaders from Matthias Kalom Cree Nation, also known as Puckatawagan, said Friday they are working on getting people home, but no date has been set. The First Nation has been evacuated since May 28th, but Manitoba Hydro estimates power there won't be restored until the end of September. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A grieving father from a northern Manitoba First Nation is frustrated and angry after he was unable to have a proper funeral for his son. He died in the weeks after they were forced from their community during the wildfires. But getting his remains home was an uphill battle. CBC's Santiago Arias Orozco has his story.
This was the last Christmas Andrew Colom got to spend with his son Featherstone. The 35-year-old died last month while evacuated in Brandon. But instead of grieving, the family has been left navigating red tape to try and have him buried in their home community.
It's unknowing. It's not knowing what I'm going to do with my son, whether I'm going to leave him in the in the morgue till this evacuation is lifted.
They are from Marcel Colom First Nation. Wildfires forced an evacuation of the area in early July. Weeks later, Featherstone passed away, and since the evacuation order is still in place, trying to get his body home was a challenge.
The Conservation Authority, they told me to call the RCMP. I called the RCMP, and the RCMP told me, well, I don't know if we're going to allow that, but so they're, they're sending me back and forth.
They needed approval to repatriate the body, which for days was delayed by the province, despite the wildfire no longer being close to the community. It's an issue one expert says speaks to a bigger problem that needs to be fixed.
Some communities, some cultures, it's you've got to treat the body a certain way, and it's got to get to where it needs to be in a certain timeline.
Once the family got the okay, getting there was also a struggle. A neighboring community lent the family a plane, but for less than 3 hours. Between the flight, then a drive, and a boat ride to the First Nation, there was little time to dig a grave and lay Featherstone to rest, and no time for the 6 family members to mourn.
There was no time wasted. There was no time to talk. There was no hugging, or talking, or it was like racing against time.
Colom's family is not alone. At least 2 other Manitobans have died while evacuated this summer. The province says they're working with communities on a case-by-case basis. But Colom says more is needed, so others don't go through the same struggles he went to bid farewell to Featherstone. Santiago Arias Orozco, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Premier Wab Kinew is being accused of breaking a law that bans government advertising during election campaigns. The PCs say they've filed a complaint to Elections Manitoba, claiming the Premier took the low road in a video shot alongside a highway. CBC's Bartley Kivas reports.
Reflect on the history of this land.
All three candidates in the Spruce Woods by-election gathered for a debate on Wednesday night.
I made the commitment to prioritize, sorry, I need some water, the Soars Highway to Delo.
Ray Berthollet, the NDP candidate, promised Wednesday to improve Highway 2 west of Souris. The following day, Premier Wab Kinew repeated this promise in a story on his Instagram account.
And now we're announcing also that stretch from Souris to Delo is going to get fixed thanks to our candidate Ray Berthollet putting that on the agenda.
The official opposition says Kinew's highway video was offside. Progressive Conservative leader Abi Khan says he filed a complaint with Elections Manitoba, alleging the NDP leader has broken election rules by making an announcement during the by-election campaign.
This is a flagrant and blatant violation of the blackout rules set out in the Elections Financing Act.
Lend Ray your vote.
The Premier's office said Kinew followed election rules. Kinew himself said the PCs seemed desperate to hold on to Spruce Woods. There are three candidates running in the by-election, a constituency that has in the past only elected PCs. Colleen Robbins is running for the Progressive Conservatives. Stephen Reid is a Liberal candidate.
It's unclear whether Kinew's Instagram post or Khan's complaint about it will have an effect on the Spruce Woods by-election. Advance voting opened on Saturday, and by-election day is Tuesday. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Nearly 3 months ago, the Louise Bridge closed for what was supposed to be a few days of scheduled maintenance. The city pushed back the reopening date twice, but today the bridge is back in business. As the CBC's Cameron McLean reports, however, there's debate over what its long-term future should look like.
For the first time in almost 3 months, vehicles can pass over the Louise Bridge. The city of Winnipeg shut the bridge down on May 23rd, expecting to reopen it again 4 days later. Inspectors found extensive corrosion, forcing the city to make repairs which took months. Despite the corrosion that was repaired this year, the city says the majority of the bridge's steel trusses remain in good condition, and if rehabilitated in a timely manner, could last for another 30 to 40 years. The long-term future of the bridge remains a matter of debate amid a by-election in Elmwood, East Kildonan. The city estimates the work to extend the life of the bridge will cost around $40 million. But Braden Mazurkiewicz, running for the seat on city council, says the city should build a new bridge at a cost of nearly $180 million.
I think that this project has been on the books since the late 2000s, like 2009 or so. And the project, the can's been getting kicked down the road.
Other candidates, like Carmen Prefontaine, says the city is taking the most prudent course of action.
If it was just an option of A or B, obviously replacing it, building a wider bridge with a greater longevity is probably the way to go. But we don't have $180 million to do that.
Emma Durand-Wood says she's relieved to have the 114-year-old bridge open again.
Good news. I think everyone was sort of holding their breath, wondering if it was really going to reopen or if it was going to be another Arlington Bridge type situation. So.
Abel Gutierrez says he needs more information before deciding, but the city has successfully fixed up other old bridges, like the Harry Lazarenko Bridge in 2014.
We rehabilitated Redwood and it looks pretty good, so why can't we do the same thing with the Louise Bridge?
The city says work to rehabilitate the Louise Bridge could start as soon as next year, pending budget approval. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
And let's bring in weather specialist Riley Laychuk. Riley, today was chilly, a bit windy. I'm not mad.
Little fall-like out there, maybe, I don't know, perhaps a false fall, but some parts of the province have been really dealing with a lot of rain over the past couple of days. So we saw some of that, yes, and some of those thunderstorms earlier in the week, but have a look at some of these numbers from northern Manitoba. So as forecast, places like Thompson, Gillam, this is as of Thursday to midnight Friday, so that doesn't count what's fallen throughout the day today, up to about 27 millimeters of rain in both Gillam and Thompson, but Lynn Lake, just about 70 millimeters of rain, and keep in mind, this is the good soaking rain that Much of northern Manitoba has desperately been needing with the wildfires that have been burning across central and northern parts of the province. To put this number into context, this is about a millimeter shy of what Lynn Lake would typically get in an entire month, all falling in about the course of a day. So some good rain coming to parts of northern Manitoba, all courtesy of this area of low pressure that's spinning through central Manitoba right now. As expected, bringing a few scattered showers to the south today, a couple passing showers in Winnipeg today as well. We are looking at a very similar day as we get through the day on Saturday, a bit cooler at 18 degrees, and that northwesterly wind chuck sticking around throughout the weekend.
Thank you so much, Riley.
You're welcome.
It's a celebration of culture, music, and community, and of course, Canadian basketball. We'll take you down to the street festival after this short break. The Winnipeg Seab Bears are hosting the Canadian Elite Basketball League Championship Weekend. It's a 3-day-long festival that is kicking off tonight in downtown Winnipeg. And the party is on, but it's not just a festival. There's a trophy up for grabs. The CBC's Gavin Axelrod is live down at the festival this evening. So Gavin, what's the vibe there?
Well, the vibes are high, the music is bumping, and people are ready to party as we ring in CEBL Championship Weekend. Now, I'm standing here on Graham Avenue where the festival is taking place, and we've been here for a few hours now. We've seen tons of people out just sort of celebrating basketball and celebrating culture. Fans are dressed in their finest Seab Bears teal, but we also spoke to people who came from Calgary and Montreal to be part of the festival. And all weekend long, there's going to be vendors, concerts, games, basically something fun for everyone. Even if you aren't going to the game, they've got that rock climbing wall that you might have seen. I'll probably go and try that after we're done here. But this is all very similar to what you might see if you've ever been to the Grey Cup and taken in some of the festivities there. But don't just take it from me, this is what the fans are saying as well.
The city of Winnipeg is cool. It's my first time here, and just walking around the festival is amazing. Got music acts, there's some things to do, people to see, and chat with some fellow fans.
It's awesome that we can all be different, have our own interests, and still come together and support something together. So that's what this feels like, you know?
Yeah, like even if we don't make it all the way to the championship, it's still a bunch of Winnipeggers together, loud, like rooting for a certain team.
Oh, it's awesome. Like to bring people out and be able to see all the cool things we have to offer here. Also get to, watch the Seab Bears play and celebrate some sports on home turf. Like, it's great for the city and great for the province, of course.
It's grown a lot in these past 3 years with the Seab Bears coming into the city, bringing all the people together, and it's just really exciting.
So Gavin, what's at stake there for the Seab Bears tonight?
Yeah, so we're zeroing in on tip-off here, and the Seab Bears are going to face off against the Calgary Surge. If they can come away with the win there, they're going to go to the championship final on Sunday, where they'll play at Canada Life Centre for the league title. Chuck, back to you.
Thanks so much, Gavin. That's Gavin Axelrod live for us. While he can't legally drive yet, this 16-year-old is taking flight. Adam Peters began his aviation journey as a young teen, and now he's preparing to take to the skies solo. CBC's Zubina Ahmed has more.
At just 16, Adam Peters is already doing pre-flight inspections, checking the engines, flight controls, fuel, and weather as he gets ready to soar. He's getting a few practice runs ahead of the Canadian National Aerobatic Championships this weekend in Steinbach. He says the thrill of flying struck him at an early age.
When I was 12 years old, I was really fascinated with the concept of airplanes and being able to mold them and shape them. And like you take these pieces of metal, which on their own, they should not be able to fly, but then you form them and mold them and you do these crazy things with them, and somehow there's some magical power in which they can fly. I thought the design of it was really cool. I thought the whole idea of aviation was just incredibly cool, and being able to do all that.
Clear for takeoff from runway 18 right now. Peter says after a lot of research and watching flying videos, once he was 13, he joined Harv's Air to start training. A year later, he flew his first solo flight, supervised by a safety pilot, and he competed in his first aerobatic championships. This year, it is his third competition, but his first solo without a safety pilot.
Going into it, I always did it just because I wanted to be a better pilot. I wanted to be able to know how to control my airplane better, and in every attitude I put it in, I want to know how do I recover from this and be able to just learn and be closer to the airplane, essentially.
He just attained his recreational pilot license a couple of months ago. This means he can fly solo within Canada. His instructor at Harv's Air, Luke Penner, praises his growth journey.
He's, very, very precocious, way beyond his years and maturity. And right from the beginning, it was clear that he was an excellent pilot. Not just in the stick and rudder skills, but also the airmanship, the decision making, the awareness, just really taking the responsibility as a pilot very seriously.
I think my goal for right now is continuing my learning, being able to do and try new things. I've always been doing that even since I started my training.
Peter says he aspires to get a private pilot license at 17 and a commercial license once he's 18. He also plans to build a 4-seater plane so that he can take his whole family flying. Zubina Ahmed, CBC News, Steinbach.
Well, young people got the chance to ask questions and learn from Manitoba leaders today. The event was part of Camp SCB. It's a 4-week program aimed at helping Black youth build confidence and leadership skills through fitness and mentorship. It's for young people between the ages of 16 and 13. The fourth floor of a downtown library has been temporarily closed as the city examines potential safety upgrades. The move comes after an incident occurred on Wednesday. Officials say this involves a person trying to go over the railing on the fourth floor. No injuries were reported. It comes just weeks after a 40-year-old man died there by suicide. Last week, the union representing the library workers said it would consider legal action if the city didn't commit to improving safety. And Riley Lechuk is back. Riley, you know I was born in the tropics. I like my heat, but for some reason, it's getting a bit chilly. Should I start accepting that it's going to be fall soon?
Well, we're into, Chloe Friesen said it best on Up to Speed this afternoon. We're into probably the second fall, the false fall. We're going to get into some warming as we get into next week once again before we enter fall for real. And with that comes the shorter days as well. I thought I'd give us a bit of a reality check here because you probably noticed in the evenings they're getting a bit shorter out there. It's getting dark a bit sooner. Our last 8 p.m. sunset's happening. In Winnipeg, that happens September 6th. In Kenora, that happens September the 1st. And Churchill happening on August the 28th. Of course, with the Earth's tilt, the further east you are and the further north you are on the globe, the sooner that 8 p.m. sunset happens before we get back into sunsets happening in the 7 o'clock hour. That's why Thompson, for example, at September 10th, and Dauphin gets another 6 days of sunsets past 8 p.m. At September the 12th. So bit of a science lesson for you there on our days getting shorter as we start to get toward fall once again here. Still some lingering showers today. That gusty northwesterly wind is what really put that bite into the air and made it feel a little bit more fall-like through the afternoon hours. All part of this area of low pressure that's now off into northwestern Ontario, but still quite a bit of lift in some of this. So still some scattered showers even through the day on Saturday, looking at a mix of sun and clouds. Cloudier at times, especially when you start to see some of these streamers coming down here with some scattered showers. So that will taper off as we get into Saturday as that low finally departs, helped in part by high pressure back to the west here, which will clear us out, but also keep our temperatures down for the weekend. So we are looking at temperatures slightly below seasonal for the weekend here, but as we get into next week, we see an upper ridge starting to build again, and that will push in some warmer air as we get into the beginning of next week. So rainfall to come, particularly for northern Manitoba, maybe another 2 to 5 millimeters, looking at that tapering off in Thompson as we get through the night, but still some lingering showers into places like Gillam and Shamattawa into the day on Saturday. Maybe a few millimeters out of some of this into the south as well, but pretty spotty at best. Another windy one tomorrow. We'll start to see the winds backing off as we get into the day on Sunday. So looking at northwest 30 gusting 50 across the south as we get through the day on Saturday. Into Sunday, we start to see that backing off in the west, but still looking at a northerly wind 20 gusting to 40 as we get through Sunday before we start to get some calmer conditions back as we get into the day on Monday. So temperatures across the province into your Saturday, looking at 18 degrees in both Winnipeg and Brandon. Temperatures hovering around the high teens through much of the day. On your Saturday into Sunday, still temperatures in the high teens, 19s for both Brandon and Winnipeg, and Thompson looking at 19 degrees as well. Your 7 days coming up.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, communities along the U.S. eastern seaboard are being advised to gear up as Hurricane Erin barrels towards the Atlantic coast. The very latest up next. A severe storm on Wednesday damaged an important landmark in Assiniboine Park. The Southern Chiefs organization says it was saddened to discover its residential school totem pole appears to have been struck by lightning. It's now determining the next steps to address the situation. The totem pole was raised in 2022. It was created by artist Charles Joseph. It tells his story as a residential school survivor and serves as a reminder of the children who never returned home. Meantime, Hurricane Erin is moving north on a path that was taken it away from the U.S. East Coast. It's lost some of its power, but some communities have still been hit with heavy flooding. U.S. forecasters are warning coastal towns and cities that heavy winds and crashing waves could cause problems over the next few days.
All right, time for Feline Friday. Of course, just pretend that I have the right banner up there. Kind of a special one tonight. Two different cats who are both parented by Naomi, but not the same Naomi. So first we have Pudge hiding in and amongst the tree there, and Stormy. Two different Naomis, two different cats. Thank you both for sending your pictures and send yours to talkback at cbc.ca. So 18 degrees into the afternoon, maybe a few scattered showers, and we're looking at temperatures staying cool as we get through the weekend here. So 19 into Sunday with a gusty north wind, and then we start to rebound a bit, 21 into Monday, 24 for Tuesday, and back up to the high 20s by Wednesday. Well, as we established a little earlier in the week, I'm clearly not a fan of heights or extreme speed or anything like that, or anything that involves jumping out of moving vehicles.
Well, me too. Well, buckle up, because our daily lift involves all of the above. If heights and speed are your thing, well, you'll love this. South African skydiver Jean-Jacques Wallace is redefining the limits of extreme aerial sports with death-defying plunges like that one. He is one of the world's fastest wingsuit flyers, achieving speeds of up to 230 kilometers an hour. Wallace has spent 2 decades mastering the art of human flight.
So he also competes in international competitions where pinpoint control is an absolute must. Wingsuit flying is one of the most dangerous aerial sports, but what a rush.
Ooh,
Some.
that is so
flat
scary.
Like a rock.
Well, have a good weekend, everyone.
See ya
ya.
Monday.
I can't do it.
I would just sing at the end.